Hello everyone, I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lines TV. Welcome to a news daily video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about and giving my opinions on links with HIGUAIN. I'm going to be talking about Saul links as well. I'm going to be giving my thoughts and opinions on LUIZ and CESC Fabregas' contract situation, plus many more. So stay tuned. You guys, if you like the video, smash that like button. Help me get more than 500 likes for today's video. And press the bell notification button as well to stay tuned to all things Blue Lines TV. And obviously I can't forget, Merry Christmas to everyone. We're getting straight into things, starting with the first story for today. That's in regards to HIGUAIN links and Alvaro Morata possibly moving on loan to AC Milan. Now these reports have been intensifying over the past few days, especially coming out from Italy, and it's looking very likely that HIGUAIN is going to be the first player that we do sign in January. I'm hearing some other things behind the scenes as well, and everything's pointing towards HIGUAIN being that striker that plays under SARRI. Now, before I get into reports, we know that SARRI has the habit of speaking to players that he's interested in signing. I told you guys about Dries Mertens. Those talks have been happening for a while. We already know, and this was confirmed by HIGUAIN himself, that SARRI had been speaking to the player during the summer. But I know that some of the cynical people this Christmas might be thinking, but Nini, you said that SARRI had been speaking to Dries Mertens. Why aren't we signing him then? I mean, not only is that a false equivalency, but you're also forgetting about Alvaro Morata. And we have to understand his situation. Number one, the club do want to sell. I've been saying this for a while. Reports have been stating this for a while as well. And with Morata's current form, it's very unlikely that we are going to make any money back on the player. You know, Morata costs a ton of money. He's on big wages as well. And this is why I feel that Chelsea are entertaining the move for HIGUAIN. Now, HIGUAIN himself hasn't been perfect. I mean, he got sent off against Juventus. He hasn't scored in the past 6 games as well. And at the end of his loan spell at Milan have the option to buy him on a permanent for 36 million. And they've already spent 18 million just to sign the player on loan. And this is why the move does become a godsend in a sense, because not only are Milan interested in Morata, and they have been interested in him for a while, but this move gives them the possibility to let HIGUAIN leave so they don't have to pay that option at the end of the season. And the reports are stating that it's looking like Morata will join AC Milan on loan until the end of the season, but they're also discussing an option to have Morata sign for them on an 18-month loan. But when it comes to the details of the transfer, I'm not going to be surprised that we will get different details as time goes on. I mean, let's be serious. Juventus are also another club that are very interested in Morata. Mandzukic isn't going to be around forever, and Morata really enjoyed his time at Juventus, so who knows? What if we bring HIGUAIN on loan, Morata signs for AC Milan on loan until the end of the season, and then maybe Morata joins Juventus at the start for next season. Of course, these are all hypotheticals, but for us to sign any striker, it's always come down to whether we can profit from Morata, get some decent money for him, or get a very profitable deal. Now, just to give my thoughts and opinions on the player, starting with Morata now, for me, I've never really been too critical of the guy, and that's because I've never really expected much. Now, when we first signed him, I was pretty pessimistic. My energy hasn't been any different. He's never had a history of showing that he can be a top-class striker, and for me, this move was always a panic move because we messed up signing Lukaku. And because we had Conte at the time and we had a certain tactical setup and system, we needed a striker that could complement Conte's system. And this is why we never signed guys like Aubameyang, because Conte doesn't use poachers. But I do find it kind of ironic in that sense because Lukaku is a poacher himself. Yes, he's superhuman, he's very strong, so I guess that gives him the ability to hold off players. But let's be serious, when we signed Morata, we were always hoping that he was going to do well. I don't think anyone really had that confidence that he was going to perform. Now, when it comes to HIGUAIN, you might be thinking, is this guy the right striker we need? Well, if we get this guy on a 6-month loan, I would definitely take it right now. I think with HIGUAIN, yes, he hasn't been amazing at Milan so far, but there is context, of course. Milan don't use the right tactical system and setup that he was playing under SARRI with, and I feel like if HIGUAIN plays under SARRI again, not only is he already up to speed with things tactically, he already has that confidence from working under SARRI previously. And let's be serious, you know, 6-month loan deal, it's not as if the guy has the opportunity to really have a pre-season, and I feel like this is another advantage that HIGUAIN has over other strikers we could potentially be involved for. In my opinion, I don't want this to be a long-term deal. I'd be more than happy to have them for 6 months, but I'm hoping that the club are still going to pursue their first choice target, and let's hope that our boards finally do some big business for next season. Now moving on to the second story for today, that's in regards to Saul Niguez of Atletico Madrid, and this report is coming from Alfredo Padula himself, and he's stating that Chelsea have been monitoring the player. Now again, by now you guys should understand what certain words mean. If you're hearing monitor, what does that really mean? I'm sure that we've monitored guys like Messi and Ronaldo, but that doesn't mean we're going to sign them. Now Padula is stating that we're going to monitor Saul, and then for next year we're going to decide on whether to make a move for him. Now again, this is where things become overly ambitious in my opinion, because Saul's got a contract until 2026 and he's got a release clause of 150 million. And can you really imagine Marina spending that type of money for a midfield player? Do we even necessarily need Saul? I don't think so. Is he a massive upgrade over guys like Kovra and Ruben? Of course not. And really listen to what I'm saying. Is he a massive upgrade over these players? Because to justify that type of money, the guy has to be one of the best in his position. And to be honest, with reports linking us with a move for Fekir, I've always kind of seen it as like, we're not signing Kovacic because we can sign Fekir for less. And that's the type of business that Chelsea like to do. I'd be really curious as to where Alfredo got this report from. Who knows, maybe it's a really old one, but because it's Christmas time, because he can get more clicks, that's why he's reporting it. But no, I don't see Saul coming. Yes, he is a very good midfield player, but when it comes to that style of midfielder, we've already got Ruben, we've got Kovra, and if he goes, it looks like potentially Fekir could be coming as well. And you have to think, if I can get Fekir for around 40 million, why am I going to spend 4 times that amount for Saul? And to end on the final report for today, that's in regards to the contract situation of David Luiz and CESC Fabregas. Now, I was text some news a few days ago in regards to CESC rejecting another offer from Chelsea and him wanting to leave in January. But since then, reports have come out over the past few days reinforcing this point, and it's looking very likely that CESC will leave in January. Now, I told you guys a while back that we were potentially looking to let Fabregas leave on a free if it meant that Milan were guaranteed to sign Bakayoko at the end of the season. And Milan have been talking to Fabregas for a while now. Who knows, potentially, if they persuade Fabregas to leave and rescind his contract, not only do we get to save on money, but maybe CESC will get compensated at Milan by getting a bigger signing on fee plus better wages compared to what he was being offered by us. Now, I don't know the exact figure that CESC was offered, but I do know that it was worth less than 50% of his current contracts. Now, Chelsea, as I've already told you guys, were only offering the guy a new deal because they're worried about the transfer ban, and of course, you know, you need to keep some of your players at the club. But it seems like further talks have broken down, and it's looking very likely that CESC will be leaving in January. Now, another report that's come out is in regards to David Luiz. Now, I never heard any updates on the player. It was only on CESC these last few days. But reports are coming out that Luiz has rejected an offer from Chelsea. Now, I wouldn't really panic too much in my opinion. I've already told you guys that there's a clause in his contract where Chelsea can look to give him a new deal whenever they want. But it looks like talks broke down due to either the length of contracts offered or the amount of money reduced. Now here's where I give my thoughts and opinions on this story, and when it comes to CESC, I do understand. I feel like the club are already monitoring younger replacements for the reducer role. I think CESC is a fantastic player. I think he's best going to Italy because number one, they respect their older players. I feel like he'll be playing first team football for a few years because age doesn't really put teams off, and I feel like he's the perfect midfield player that Milan needs. And imagine he's playing alongside Kessie and Paqueta. That's a fantastic midfield. And if you're CESC, there's no way that you're not going to be interested by AC Milan. When it comes to David Luiz though, again, there is time. I wouldn't be surprised if something does get arranged during next year, but I can't lie, it would be very disappointing in my opinion if we don't give this guy a contract. I think he's been a fantastic servant for the club. He's put in so many immense performances for us. He's been so decisive in many key moments for us. And on top of that, he's one of the most popular figures at the club. And with Azpilicueta, they're the two leaders behind the scenes. Now, I've been told in regards to Aspie, when it comes to his leadership, what he's really popular for is that he really helps new players that have signed for the club. Now, he helps them in regards to finding homes, areas to go out to, restaurants, and just really making their stay more welcoming and helping them settle down even easier. But when it comes to David Luiz, in a way, he's kind of taken over the John Terry role. Now, I'm sure there's going to be a few people that are just going to react negatively just to the fact that I've said Terry and Luiz in the same sentence without even listening to what I'm saying. But I don't care. That's the reality of what David Luiz brings to the club currently. He's very good to the youth players. He goes out to see them, and Aspilicueta does that as well. He's popular with people behind the scenes at the club. He's popular with the players as well. And I'm sorry, the guy is one of the best ball-playing defenders in the world. I said ball-playing defenders. There's different types of defenders, let's be serious. And I think that when you look at his overall stay at Chelsea, it's been an overwhelming success. And it would really disappoint me if we allowed him to leave because we didn't want to pay a bit extra, because we didn't want to pay the money, or we didn't offer him the contract he wants. Now, I'm sure Luiz understands that, yes, I know that I'm not going to get a 3 or 4 year deal, but come on, at least 2 years, no? You've got to understand with the players, especially at the age they are, they need the safeguards in their career. I mean, let's be serious, Luiz and Willian have opened a new restaurant here, and when you're opening an investment like this in London, ideally you want to stay. And Chelsea have made these mistakes already by offering other ex-pros 1 year deals. But my thing is, why do we have to persist with such a stupid rule? Why do things have to be so strict? I would understand if this was a Gary Cahill because he's on a ton of money, he's not really playing. And when you compare him to David Luiz, Luiz has been much better. But for someone that's so well respected by people in the team, why is that overlooked? Now again, I'm just giving my thoughts and opinions. There's nothing conclusive stating that Luiz will be leaving. I hope it doesn't get to that point. And something tells me that when it comes to next year, I'm sure that they are going to come with a new agreement. I mean, Sarri said it himself, he's disappointed the club's very strict and stringent approach to guys over 30. And think about the team balance. Let's say new players come in. You need guys at the club that are going to tell them what it means to play for Chelsea. The manager needs leaders in the team, because let's be serious, if we let Luiz leave, who's going to be that leader that steps up? Could Rudiger be that guy? Potentially. Could Aspie step up even more? Maybe. But you make the manager's life even harder, and you have to think about the squad's balance. You have to think about the micromanagement of the squad. And when you have guys like David Luiz, it makes a manager's life even easier. And I think that would be a massive statement of our lack of ambition if we allow a bit of money to stop us from keeping a guy like this at the club. Now, some people might think, oh, but Nini, what if he takes away space from Christensen and Zuma and other guys? Maybe, who knows? But the fundamental key thing is that even if he isn't first choice, the guy's fantastic to have in the squad. I would love this guy as a third choice or even fourth choice defender. And if we don't sign him because of money, I mean it, I'm gonna be so annoyed and so upset. But anyway, you guys, that's enough from me. Thank you for watching today's video. Please like, comment and subscribe. I hope tomorrow you guys have a good Christmas if you're celebrating Christmas. Make sure you don't burn that turkey. You guys, I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lines TV. Signing out.